going on, everybody? Welcome back. Whether you like it or hate it, The Bachelorette is back, and we are back, ready to recap all the nonsense. It's been an enjoyable time off with regards to a little bachelor break. I don't know about all of you listening, but I enjoyed the time off. I enjoyed the break. It was getting a lot, but
It's a lot.
I hope you enjoyed your time off, because we will be recapping this nonsense for the foreseeable future. It's my understanding that The Bachelor will be on every Monday and sometimes Tuesday for the better part of a year, I think.
Thanks, ABC.
Thank you. So welcome. We are glad to have you. We know you have so many options, maybe hundreds of options when it comes to Bachelor Recap Podcast.
Man, crazy.
And we thank you for choosing us. I have my dream team with me, my producer Chrissy, Allie, and Amanda, who are rocking the social content on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. Thanks for joining. Did you guys have a great weekend? Was it nice? Was it great?
I watched The Bachelor all weekend, so
All
I don't know what
weekend?
anybody else on this team did.
All weekend? How many times did you watch it?
We got I watched it twice.
Well, better than me.
I took myself on a date this weekend.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How was what?
I went for Pilates, and there was some seltzer there. It was for AAPI month, like delayed thing. So it was just this free workout class. And I was going to find a friend to go. And I was like, no, I need to go on a date by myself. So I went for Pilates and some lychee seltzer.
And when it comes to going on a date or yourself, when it comes to going on a date with yourself, are you a closer?
Yeah, exactly. There is, it was a classy first date. Left me wanting more.
Oh, that's good.
I think I spent every night by myself. And at one point I made myself a cocktail to take a shower with my dog because she too needed a bath. And I was like, this is my life.
You need to get out more.
I'm very content with myself and
That's
my
great. I mean, it
reality.
makes-
I work. Allie plays with her dog, and Amanda has a life.
It makes for a great employee. I mean, selfishly,
all I do is just wait for Nick to text me.
as
all
your
day.
boss,
Me too.
as your boss, I quite like it. As a friend, I think you need to
Are we friends?
push your No, we're not. But if I were to just I like to think I'm everyone's friend who listens to this podcast.
Okay.
And so by default,
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
I feel like you're everyone's big brother who
Yeah.
listens to this podcast.
Yeah, thank you. I like to think of myself the same. I had a great weekend. For anyone asking, I went to my cousin's wedding in Mexico, in Sayulita. Like literally, right where they filmed Paradise was kind of funny. It was a little bit of a flashback. I was like, oh, I filmed a date there. I filmed a date there. But congratulations to my cousin Seth and his wonderful bride Mary. Shout out to them. Heard a cute little story about them, and I know this isn't the Ask Nick episode of our podcast, so quick plug, obviously, Bachelor fans. We do this amazing thing called Ask Nick on Mondays where people call in and share their stories, and we give them advice. It's a huge and wonderfully popular show, so give us a try if you haven't tapped into that. But heard a story about my cousin and his now wife during quarantine. They were college sweethearts, so they've been dating for 8 or 9 years, and I think that's great that they waited as long, because a lot of people are like, oh, you've been dating for 9 years, but they met in college, and so they dated through college, and they didn't feel the pressure of getting engaged and married right after college, because they're still figuring themselves out. But so it takes they've been together for a while, they've been dating, and during quarantine when no one was going outside, they would enthusiastically plan dates to go on dates with each other and then get ready in separate bathrooms. They would do a whole thing. It wasn't like, let's watch a movie and call it a date. They treated it like a real date. And people always ask us about keeping the spark alive and et cetera, and they just prioritized the connection that they have and made sure that they were continuing to nurture that connection. I thought that was a really fun and great story. I've never done that. So shout out to them. Congratulations, Seth and Mary. Also, those are super fun weddings. So not all weddings are created equal. And theirs was
That
great.
is for sure.
I had a great time. Natalie, when we went to Natalie came. A lot of my family was there, so she crushed it with the family. She like right before she's like, so do you like dance at weddings? Because we'd never been to a wedding before, and I accepted that challenge and crushed it.
I have no doubt that you dance at weddings.
There was a song that we had a great time. We just enjoyed ourselves. I wish I think we were the best dancing couple. So humbly
you look
speaking,
like the guy I would assume you're the guy who starts the dancing at the wedding.
No. I sometimes will sit out. But
It's always a kid that starts the dancing
like
at
the
weddings.
boogie.
It was my brother James, I think. Anyway. Yeah, there was this one song. It was like the ABBA remix, and Natalie and I were just like we'd never danced together. Like we'd never been to a wedding. You know, it wasn't like we weren't Seth and Mary. We weren't like, let's dance and keep the spark alive. And we played like we never fucking did that. So like this was our first time seeing if we could dance, and she's an excellent dancer. So we crush it. Anyway, Teddi is with us today. Teddi Mellencamp. She's sitting right next to us.
I was like, am I allowed to laugh? This intro is
It really was up to you.
I was like, okay.
There were no rules.
I didn't want to peep in.
Technically still our intro, so bear with us. Teddi Mellencamp is our guest today, and we brought her back because, well, one, friend of show and passionate Bachelor fan, and as she likes to remind me every time I see her, and sometimes when I don't see her, that she successfully picked the winner, Rachel K, on Matt James' season. So we brought her back to see if she could successfully pick the winner this time around. Before we get into the recap, I want to set some ground rules for this show that we will be to our audience. Not for you, Teddi.
I was like, I can't have rules.
Just double checking.
There are rules for our audience, Teddi.
All right. Why didn't?
Am I allowed to tell you to calm down?
Yeah, you can tell me to calm down. It doesn't mean I'll listen.
Yeah, our audience is fuming right now. Don't tell a woman to hold. I think it's important that we suggested these rules in the past, but this is something I'm going to do on these recaps every week, just in case people need a reminder. It's a disclaimer, really. When we recap this show, it's a friendly reminder that we are recapping The Bachelorette, and we are commenting obviously on the people on the show, and we are commenting on their characters. We are not critiquing their character as people in real life. We are simply just giving our opinions on things we see in a TV show that we recognize sometimes can be edited, if for no other reason, for time constraints, and sometimes for dramatic effect. Unless we state otherwise, we haven't met these people in person. We don't know who they are, and we reserve the right to be totally fucking wrong about everything we say.
Because it's a TV show.
Because it's a TV show. And I encourage you people listening, when you share your opinions, to remember that about these people. They're just lovable people, I am sure. And just a friendly reminder.
Okay, I can live with those rules.
Can you live with those?
Yeah, it's because it's
Is
actually.
there another rule, or is that the only one?
No,
That's really it.
If there's more coming,
That's just the only rule. Is that like we're just like,
Like this is for entertainment value.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we're not coming for anyone. We're not going on their gram to talk about them. Maybe to spy, but not to.
Do you do that?
Sometimes I need to go deep down the
I
rabbit hole.
appreciate the thoroughness. That's why we're leading this.
I will never leave any loophole.
That's why we're leading this season with
This
you.
accountability, she will find it.
I need to know every crumb of every detail.
Anyway, let's get to the recap back after these quick messages. Hey, it's summer. You're going to be outside. Make sure to take care of your lawn, because as a new homeowner, I can tell you that I'm super into watering things, including my grass, because, you compete with your neighbors. I live in Los Angeles, California, which I don't know if you noticed is a different climate than, say, Wisconsin, where I'm from. And if you live in Florida or Texas or Montana, Everyone
Yes.
has different types of grass, and all that grass has different needs. And Sunday is more than just a lawn care product. It is a custom lawn care plan with a variety of ways to help you grow a beautiful lawn, control weeds, and remove pests. Take all the work out of the guesswork.
They sent me dandelion doom. My entire yard was yellow. It just looked like a yellow. There was no green. It was just yellow. And I put the dandelion doom on it. And now my lawn is green and they're dead and they're gone. And I didn't even have to dig them up.
It's really cool because they like take like a GPS of your like lawn and like you tell them where you live.
Yeah.
I just went to Sunday.com, put in my address, and their free lawn care analysis tool took care of the rest. All in just seconds. Sunday uses soil and climate data to create a tailored nutrient plan. Get the stuff your lawn needs and kick all your neighbors' asses and spend less time doing it with Sunday. Made with ingredients you can actually pronounce like seaweed, iron, and molasses. So you can grow better and feel better about it. It's also really easy to use. All I do is attach the ready-to-use pouch to a garden hose and spray. Yeah. And didn't take me much longer than 15 minutes. Let Sunday take the guesswork out of growing a greener and more beautiful lawn this spring. Visit getsunday.com/VIALL to get $20 off your custom lawn care plan at checkout. That's $20 off your custom plan at getsunday.com/VIALL. Hey, what's up? Hey, money. It's a sensitive subject, and when it comes to money, you always want to work with people you trust. And I'm sure you've heard of Credit Karma, and to talk about trusting, if it weren't for Credit Karma, I wouldn't own the house that I owe. They certainly were there for helping me make sure my credit was on point when I was securing a mortgage for my house. Credit Karma's always been there to help me, and now they're there to help you make better financial decisions, and now they want to help even more. With a Credit Karma Money Spend account, you can be rewarded with good money habits. Who doesn't want instant gratification? If you're looking for satisfaction, there is no need to wait. With Credit Karma Money, you can win cash reimbursements for debit purchases. Credit Karma is a brand new checking account where you can win cash reimbursements for making purchases. Credit Karma Money has already given away over $3 million in instant karma with 50,000 Credit Karma members and counting. Open your FDIC insured spend account for free. There's no minimum balance requirements, no overdraft fees, and free withdrawals from a network of over 50,000 ATMs. Credit Karma Money progress starts here right now. Visit creditkarma.com/winmoney to open your free account and start winning instant karma. Go to creditkarma.com/winmoney to sign up for free and start winning instant karma. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney. Instant Karma is sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules. Banking services provided by MVB Bank Inc. Member FDIC. Maximum balance and transfer limits apply. And we're back. Teddy, thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So lovely to see you. How have you been?
I've been great. And, what better way to start a Monday than rushing your kids to school drop-off to then come and talk about the Bachelorette?
I'm glad that we are a priority.
I couldn't miss it. Plus, I got to watch the episode a day early, which for me, I didn't have to stay up so late.
That is a win.
It's a win.
Well, we, I guess let's just open up with thoughts on Katie as the Bachelorette. Are we excited?
Well, I have to say, going into it, I wasn't necessarily excited, but I need you to answer a couple of questions for me.
Shoot. What
exactly is sex positive?
Great question.
Because they say it a lot.
It is. Interestingly enough, I don't know if you know this about me, Teddy. I give a lot of relationship advice.
Oh, I see it on the gram.
And we also crushing it on TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
No. I mean, I am old.
You know what? People need to start.
Actually, are we similar in age? What is your age?
It doesn't matter. People need to start age shaming themselves, especially when it comes to TikTok. People always be like, am I too old for TikTok? What does that even mean? Listen, the kids start. Well, never mind. I was gonna be like the kids in porn. The kids in porn start everything. If it's Snap, it's always the younger generations that make things cool, and then like.
I know, but I can't do those dances. That's not.
You don't have to
age.
do the dances. That's how things got started. You just find your own niche.
I'm on too many things.
All right. Anyway.
All right. Moving on. Okay.
Moving on. What was I going to say?
Sex positive.
Oh, sex positive. I had this, so we talk about sex and dating a lot. And I do think people very much make the mistake of confusing sex positive with just respecting how powerful and the awesomeness of sex in the sense that like people like, oh, you're sex positive, and somehow that for some people means like let's just fuck all the time without consequence.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
like
you're slutty. Some people.
it might,
But I mean, she is the girl that brought the dildo as the her opening.
But that's not what sex positive
But
means.
is
People
that
think
that's
that
what
it
I'm
means that you're
asking.
easy.
Well, I think what it means to me, and I don't know the definition, is that you have a positive outlook on sex. You know, we come from a Puritan kind of culture, you know, conservative family values. Even we talk about this a lot in my household, that sex in and of itself is not something to be ashamed of or to judge yourself. And if you want to have sex, you should have sex, and you should enjoy sex for what it is. You should be careful and safe and respect that if you don't respect sex, it comes with consequences. Consequences sometimes as severe as like an STD you can't get rid of, or a pregnancy that you weren't expecting, or sometimes maybe just disappointment can be a consequence of thinking and that you are really into someone, and then you get attached because you have sex, but they're just like, I wasn't, and so, So
the majority of people that are sex positive, they just don't need to label themselves consistently.
Well, I think it's one of those things that nowadays, it's people still shame sex. People still, especially when it comes to women,
It's part of your daily jargon.
No, it's just the fact that Katie brought a dildo on Matt James this season, right? Like 5 years ago, people would have lost their shit about a woman talking so openly about just the fact that she enjoys sex. I think is a new thing, and that positive outlook on sex can be a healthy thing. It's something for people to enjoy and respect, right? But it is something. I think sometimes people do confuse sex positive with being like, well, you can just fuck all the time and there are no consequences.
But I think she brought the dildo not to show like I enjoy this part of my sexuality. I think she brought the dildo to say for shock value.
I don't know. I think a little bit of both. A little bit we know about Katie is that she is comfortable talking about sex and the fact that she enjoys it, and that is sex positive. I think she also, as all these limo exits are, or entrances or whatever you want to call it, are for a good laugh, right, or just show that you have a sense of humor. I think the dildo thing was a little originally, like you said, just ha ha ha, like make my mark. But it turns out Katie is also someone who is sex positive, who is comfortable about acknowledging that she enjoys sex or masturbating, and that's an okay and healthy thing.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, because going into it, I was not excited. And then after watching this episode, I got all revved up again, and I was like, all right, I'm in. Because
Great.
I got changed.
I'm just going to ask the panel. I'm going to reserve the right to not give because I'm going to put you guys all on the spot. What did the big elephant in the room is no Chris Harrison, minus Chris Harrison, plus Kaitlyn and Tayshia.
Which brought up two big things.
So not only is there that's just different people, but just how they approach the role that Kaitlyn and Tayshia played was obviously clearly different than the role Chris has played.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Just we'll go around the room. Chrissy, did you like it?
Two things. One, the non-Chris Harrison voiceover, the new voiceover guy, that James Earl Jones really
What
low.
are you gonna do?
It upset me. That's number one. Didn't match the show. Number two.
That's just you not being used to it.
I think the girls are fine. It's not that I didn't like the girls. I think the creative created for the girls is the issue.
Same.
So them standing in the window, them acting more like girlfriends than acting more like hosts. You need the person to piece it together and keep it together. And I think the creative is that they're, oh my God, no way, I can't wait to see you. And that was too much for me.
Amanda?
I see potential. I did not like the execution in this first episode, but there were a few glimmers of like, okay, when you have like, because I do think the casual stuff, it didn't work. And I didn't think the jokes were particularly funny. I think they kind of set them up to look bad. But, you know, you see Kaitlyn active listening. Yeah. And I think about the way that like my female friends can extract emotion from me like nobody else. And I think there's potential for that to happen later on in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be good later on when she needs advice and she like wants to talk to someone who's literally been in her shoes. But the whole like rose ceremony part, when I was like, both of you don't need to shuffle out to have one of you deliver a line and then you both shuffle back out. Like it just was so like,
yeah, but it's the first episode. You can't have one come out if you know
I
what I'm saying. Like,
I'm
there's
just like,
not much.
let's take a breath and just make it more normal.
Teddi.
Well, the thing that I thought was a little bit hold on. Let me process this for a second. Okay, I think the part that really kind of drove me a little bit crazy about the whole thing was they come in and they're giddy, like they get to see their best friend, but they don't know each other. Let's take a couple seats. We're not actual best friends.
Who,
like,
Teddi and I'm sorry,
Tayshia and Kaitlyn and like
Katie.
Katie, are they really best friends? So no, let's be excited that you have girls on your team, but we're not best friends.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right.
So
I mean, I don't know the relationship.
If I'm going to confide in one of my best friends, then that person better show up and be somebody that I know. If not, you have to take a little breath and be like, I'm so excited for your guidance and those types of things back and forth. But these girls don't know each other. So that was hard for me as like a girl's girl. And then also, I didn't need to hear them chewing the popcorn. Like, I could actually hear that.
You heard it. Yeah, I didn't.
And I was like, unnecessary.
Nick likes the sound of people chewing food.
No, chewing food is a major turnoff.
Only in movies. Yeah.
No.
In movies.
Do you love Brad Pitt movies?
Yes.
So much chewing.
That's so good. I didn't like when they had Kaitlyn and Tayshia come out and sneak up on Katie. That was bizarre.
Yeah.
No.
Like you knew
The
they
creative is like,
and when they were like,
bad.
I don't want to be alone. Like I'm worried to have this be a journey by myself. And it's like,
you know,
Although I live for that Thelma and Louise entrance, honey. That was amazing.
That was cool.
Oh, yeah,
They
that
had
was
a
cute.
scarf on their heads and the whole thing.
Yeah, that part was cute.
They're really good at that.
Their entrance was better than Katie's, dare I say. Like Katie had a whole
yeah,
montage.
that was a very
Theirs
cool.
was better.
That was very cool. Yeah, they're not. I mean, yeah, I didn't get the. It was. Maybe Katie didn't know, but it was pretty public knowledge before. You know, Katie probably had to give her phone away at some point, but it was out there already.
And there was also someone said that the producers approached Katie before the season happened. She'd already been cast as the Bachelorette, and they weren't sure what to do with the Chris Harrison situation. So they asked her opinion if she wanted Chris to come back or not, and she said no.
That's such bullshit. There's like no offense to Katie. They're not asking Katie's opinion.
Yeah.
Katie, do you want to also produce the show?
Hey, this is a multi-million-dollar franchise that is owned by the likes of AT&T and Disney, and then below them is Warner Brothers and ABC. But Katie, what do you think?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I think if Tayshia and Kaitlyn...
if
Tayshia and Kaitlyn had come out and just like walked out while she was standing there in a sophisticated way and just had been like, you're not alone. We're here, blah, 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 blah. Instead of the sneak up, it would have been like 10 times better and set the mood for what is coming forward.
I didn't love the campiness
it was
of
too
it.
campy.
I don't know whose choice that was. I don't know. Maybe it was Kaitlyn and Tayshia's. Maybe that's how they thought most comfortable. Who knows? I didn't love it, but it was interesting. But in fairness, yes. Like this is, you know, how many seasons with Chris Harrison have you had? Like, I missed Chris Harrison this episode. I did too. I did. It is what it is. Like the guy is a pro. Maybe it's because we're just used to it, maybe because it's different. It remains to be seen. Don't forget, Father's Day is June 2nd. So if you haven't found the perfect gift yet, look no further than Untuck It. Untuck It shirts are designed to be worn untucked, so they have the comfort built, and they're just the thing to get and feel comfortable all summer long. Plus, Untuck It has fits for all shapes and sizes, slim, tall, and relaxed. So get the dads, the moms, the boys in your life the perfect gift with stylish shirts that are meant to be worn untucked. They don't have to look sloppy and be comfortable all at the same time. They can do both with Untuck It. Most of Untuck It gift ideas are under $100, so you don't have to break the bank to be the hero in your dad's life. Be a hero for your hero with Untuck It. So remember, if you need the perfect gift for Father's Day, get him a shirt from Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Use code VIALL for 20% off your first purchase at untuckit.com. That's UNTUCKIT.com. Cameo. Get that special person in your life a custom gift by Cameo. Your favorite celebrities, including Snooki from Jersey Shore. True story. Natalie sat down to Snooki at the MTV Awards and lost her cool. It was very unprofessional,
No way.
Natalie. Our favorite Cameo person, Brian Baumgartner, Kevin from The Office. You know him. You love him, because he's been on our podcast, and now he can wish your friends a happy birthday, and yours truly. Really, just book me and I'll say anything you want. No, that's not true. Maybe. I don't know. Floyd Merriweather, wish him luck on his upcoming fight. Chris Tucker, Caitlyn Jenner, David Hasselhoff, Lindsay Lohan, the list goes on. Your favorite people can make custom gifts, shout outs, roast messages, congratulatory messages, you name it. Just send a creative gift. Go to cameo.com, request a personalized video, and whichever star you choose will send you back a personalized video so you can wow the ones you love. So don't just buy a gift, make a cameo. Go to cameo.com. I expected to get more out of Tayshia and Kaitlyn, and this is not a criticism towards them or anyone, and maybe it is just because it's different, and I agree with Amanda that I do think you're going to see, and I hope that with Tayshia and Kaitlyn being, two women who have experienced exactly what Kaitlyn is going through, we will be able to see more authentic conversations with Katie than, say, Chris had, just because, well, it just makes sense that they would. So I hope to see that. And maybe because it is night one, there's just too much going on that you really didn't get a chance to see that, because you're right. Like it's not the first time they've brought in previous leads to sit down with the new bachelor or bachelorette and give them advice about an experience that is kind of like, don't fall in love on the first date, so I was hoping for a little bit more. And so I was personally surprised that I miss Chris as much as I did.
I did too. And I like both those girls. I follow both of them on social media.
Yeah.
I like them. I like their energy. I just think all of it combined, I almost would have liked a more nostalgic, like an original Bachelorette, like even a Trista, who I've been through this. I've done this.
One. The two is a lot.
Yeah, we don't need two different energies reading out the lines. That part was hard for me.
My guess is they're still figuring out what's going to happen, right? So there's clearly it seems like, and this is just, I know as much as anyone out there in the world, is that a decision really hasn't been made. We've heard reports about Paradise and I do know they're looking for bigger names, like you have David Spade going down there and Sarah Hyland going down there. Maybe we'll see more. So they're looking for what big famous Bachelor fans can come down and guest host. And ultimately, this all just means that the door's still open for Chris to return. It's not going to be Paradise. It's not going to be Michelle's season. And who knows? Maybe he doesn't come back. But, having Paulie is Paulie's a fan favorite. He's the big guy who you don't really see on camera. He's the one who brought in the first impression rose.
Oh yeah.
Why did Paulie bring it in and not Tayshia and Kaitlyn? My guess it was probably hey Paulie, we love you. He's been with this franchise forever. Why don't you bring it out there? But the door's still open, I think, and it's not Kaitlyn and Tayshia becoming the new hosts of the show, and it gives the show some flexibility. And so my guess is why it's different and weird, and why they're not just filling Chris's role is because a decision hasn't been made. And that they are there to, they keep saying, we're here to support Katie, women supporting women. And so there's this, it'll be interesting, because with all that being said, will that hurt the show? Will that hurt the show to just not make a decision and have someone really guide the show? And will I'm really curious, because we are recording this before we see what Twitter's reaction is. I am curious to see. I expect a lot of people to be fans of Tayshia and Kaitlyn and the women and what they say, but will they, the campiness of it all, that was definitely new, and I'm really curious what the rest of Bachelor Nation thinks.
We need to get Rob Mills on.
Yeah, we do.
Hear what he
says. I was gonna.
Do you think Chris would come back?
Yes, I think it's yes. Yeah. Why would you?
I don't know. Sometimes people's pride, or when a company that you've worked for a long time, makes that decision, and you've made a mistake, and now with cancel culture and all of these different types of things, I don't know his mental state. I don't know Chris Harrison, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's not interested in coming back.
Well, I guess it just depends on what your alternative options are. And I think Chris will have options, but being the host of The Bachelor, it's I think his job was, in terms of what he made versus what he had to do, was one of the, a job what people would want.
Yeah.
But I feel like, going along with Teddy's point, it's like when Joe Paterno had to leave Penn State after that whole scandal went down, and then without his job, he literally passed away. He died. He was like, I don't have my motivation of my job.
He was 90.
Okay, well,
I almost had to get Siri out. I'm like, Siri, who is Joe Paterno? Not like The Bachelor.
That was
last time I saw Chris, he was thriving, healthy,
I'm not
active.
saying Chris is gonna die, but I think when you take a step back, and that's been your main thing for so long, it changes your perspective and it changes your priorities.
Sure, yeah.
Not
Who knows
saying
what Chris has been up to? Maybe he's reinventing himself. Maybe he, but I don't think being the host of The Bachelor cannibalized his time so much that he couldn't explore his other interests, right? So my guess is that if they'll have him back, he will be back. And why? I mean, and yeah. It's just and we've heard, at least from sources, that he wants to come back. So.
Why are they doing 2 bachelorettes back to back? Why aren't we getting a bachelor in the middle?
My guess is optics, politics, 2021, women supporting women. We already have more bachelor seasons than we have bachelorettes.
All right.
We're in a climate of focusing on supporting women, and I think they had decided, I also think, and we always talk about producers are good at adapting and they don't always get it right. I think if they expected Michelle to be as charming and as likable as she turned out to be, there's no way they would have stashed her in a hotel room for 4 episodes. Everything we heard was Katie was going to be their bachelorette. They probably had decided. They probably planned dates. And they were like, fucking Michelle's awesome.
Yeah,
she's great. She would also make a great bachelorette. You know what? And then you have the combination of COVID and programming and the Bachelor franchise, scandals or not, or whatever people have to say, is the ABC's and Warner Brothers, one of their most successful and profitable shows. So why not just keep printing money?
Yep.
And we have probably programming available, and ABC's like, hey, Warner Brothers, you guys want to produce one more season of The Bachelorette? And they had this Michelle who, we just started getting to know. They already landed on Katie, and fuck it, let's have another season of The Bachelorette.
Let's do it.
Because yes, there wasn't a guy that they were trying to, there wasn't a no-brainer guy, and also throwing out one more season of supporting women and focusing on a bunch of guys chasing a woman rather than a bunch of women fighting over a guy, I think is just the type of optics the franchise is
going for.
I got
it. All right. I can live with that.
So, all right. Well, with that all out of the way, let's start, shitting on these guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, God.
I mean,
we're not shitting on them.
needed
Just read the
her
rules
to
of the, didn't you listen to your own rules?
Yeah, I gave those rules so that we can
shit on them. That's the point.
And get away with it.
We don't want to get heat for what we're about to say, but I needed her to stop saying how hot every single person was and how everybody's a 10 plus. There is no way, I don't know, what is there, 30 guys originally or 25 or whatever it is, that you think every single one of them is a 10. I for sure didn't. I was like, no. So why did she have to do that every time?
I don't, because, well, it's part of her job.
But you didn't say every single girl was hot.
Sure, I don't know. I mean, listen, when here's how it works. People come out of the limo, right? She'll meet 4 or 5 guys at a time. I don't know how it is with it being in New Mexico. But if a man or a woman has a unique idea, like I want to ride in on an elephant, like they'll come in on the elephant by themselves. But everyone else, it's 4 or 5 to a limo, right?
Right.
So the limo will come out, you'll meet your guy or girl, they'll do their thing, and then like you will watch them leave, and they want you to like say, what are your thoughts? And those thoughts are always going to be like, oh, cute. Wears a suit well. She looks great. Oh, he's so hot. Oh, that was funny. There's only so many things you can say.
But hot every time. She could have said funny or charming or.
She might have said that. She also
But they
is
just
not
use
editing.
hot,
Sure,
hot,
yeah.
hot,
I mean,
hot.
I feel like part of Katie's appeal is that she's like girl next door. Like with other contestants, it's like they are so like their whole personality is that they are just these visions. And then with Katie, like her appeal was that she was handling a difficult situation in a very like authentic, real human way, being like, we can't bully. So I think that's also part of it, where it's like Katie is, I think, more of a girl that I think we are meant to see ourselves in than like past bachelorettes that I think are.
So you didn't think any part of last season she was being manipulative? Help me say that word.
manipulative?
Yes, manipulative.
To who?
To when she was at the end with the bullying stuff, when it started carrying on to
I think
now
she milked it.
5 other women, you know, like
I think she milked it. Yeah.
she milked it. So come on,
That's not
guys.
manipulative, though.
I think she was thinking about the camera and what the audience was thinking versus what she would actually do in real life. I think at the beginning she had a good point with the bullying, but then she just took it to the next level and just was going on overdrive. And I was like, enough. Pump the brakes. We got it.
Okay.
All right.
Question to that point. I thought this was an interesting comment. I don't know if you guys who remember who said it, but one of the comments was, he is so handsome for her.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, what a weird thing to say.
And was that about
And
cat
what
guy?
exactly do you mean by that? What would you think if a friend, and you're like, hey, met a guy, super into him, what do you think? And your friend was like, oh, he is so handsome for you.
So one of two things. Maybe her significant other gets a little jealous about those types of things. So she caught herself with like, he is so handsome for her. So she had that
Was
little...
it that?
It could be that, or it could just be she's trying to be polite because she's not into him. Because I know who I would pick
I mean,
for...
Tayshia said that.
Right.
So you're worried about Katie? I'm just curious, what does someone say?
So like she's worried about Zach seeing her say that somebody's handsome.
Yeah. So if she says that, she doesn't want to offend Zach.
I don't know Zach. I've never met him. He doesn't strike me as a type of guy who is going to lose his shit because Tayshia says he's handsome, especially as the host of the show.
Well, maybe she just said
I hope not for that relationship, but I could be wrong.
Maybe she just was saying like that they seem like a good match. They're a good pair. Was she talking about cat guy?
No, I think she was talking about
I think it was
Dad.
Cody.
No, I feel like it was the guy.
Ew, I was not into Cody.
Which one's Cody?
Cody's the blow up doll.
The blow up doll guy.
Was it him?
I don't like you guy.
I thought it was for the dad. Who is the dad?
Greg?
Or one of the dads. I think there's more than
no,
one
dad.
dad.
No,
Greg
the
has
dad
nieces
is
and nephews.
Michael.
Yeah.
Son, 4 years
Michael.
old.
I feel like it was
heirloom
from Michael.
joke.
It doesn't really matter who it was for. But is that? I don't know. I was wondering. I don't know. What do other women
She could
think
be
she meant?
politely shading Katie's look.
You thought it was a shade, Nick. That's what you thought.
Yeah, he thinks it's a shade. Like she.
It felt like
Yeah,
so
he's
felt
thinking
like a
it's
low-key
a
shade.
Yeah.
basically like if someone came up to me and
I like
was
that for
like,
you.
that guy there is handsome for you.
But he's
meaning
like-
I mean, I'd never go
but
for him,
he's
but
like
I
a
like him for you.
he's not handsome, meaning like my girlfriend's trying to say to me, that guy's not handsome to me, but for you, he's fine.
Yeah, like I would
He's a
never fuck
solid
him.
6.
Yeah. I mean, oh my God, ew, gross. But I love him for you. Like it's the Alexa oh my God, I love that for you. Like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird. I
But that's how you took it.
Yeah, but I could be totally wrong. I was curious.
I took it more the way Teddy thought it.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised at a little subtle shade because if we could have remembered who it was she was saying it to, we could judge it a little more by his appearance.
It was not Thomas.
I don't know.
Thomas is like, well, that's the thing. You have your Thomases of this group, and obviously if you guys watch the Super Teas, I make an appearance this season, and I don't want to give too much away. I'm on episode 3. It was a really great fun date. Personally, I think it kind of changed the whole complexity of the season, but whatever. So I when we say I have met some of these guys. It's a date, so I didn't really get to spend a ton of time with them. I certainly have my opinions of them. I know very little, other than what I experienced on the date, but that is very much closed off to all the other things that are going on. And, I have my opinions about my interactions with them, but who knows? And I'll share a little bit, but I will say Thomas is gorgeous, striking. He's 6'5". He's super hot. He is just objectively total babe.
Loved her vulnerability.
Nick's man crush.
Oh no, absolutely not. Thomas is I'd notice Thomas right away. He gives me Josh Murray vibes.
So if you were the Bachelorette, you would pick Thomas.
No.
Aesthetically speaking only.
No, I'm just saying objectively I can recognize he's an attractive guy. I also you'll pick up on this, and I picked up on this as soon as I got to talk to him. He gives me Josh Murray vibes. I don't know if you
The sweaty guy?
Yeah.
on Andy's season. I think Thomas.
No.
I don't
him on Bachelor in Paradise. I can't.
Predictions. We'll get into predictions. I'll tell you. I don't think Thomas is going to win.
No.
I think Thomas would have won a lot of other seasons if the Bachelorette was different. In my very brief time with him, he is always on, and everything that comes out of his mouth is rehearsed and thought. It was my opinion. So I get villain vibes from him, but also for example, Josh Murray won Andy's season, but also was the villain of Paradise. Andy loved him. There was a level of protection as a winner you get, and quite frankly, he didn't do a lot of villainous shit on his season because he was winning. He was winning, and the guys were more focused on me, and Josh. So situations matter.
Right.
I don't think. Talking about girl next door vibes, it seems there's two different guys on this season. There's model hot, and then there's relatable, goofy, funny guy hot. You got your Connor, your Gregs, some other guys that are just nice fellow. You see him at a bar in Milwaukee or whatever town, and then you have your Thomases and your the guy in the box, just beautiful men.
What about Brendan? Hey, you.
And my prediction is that Katie is going to end up with the more relatable.
Connors of the world.
Are we doing our prediction already?
No, you're kind of floating. We're not going hard. This is who's going to win.
Should I tell you who I would pick if I was the Bachelorette?
After I tell you, because I don't want to give you credit in case I have.
No, but I'm saying who I actually I would want to be with. Yeah.
Oh, so this is not who you think.
No, this isn't who I think is going to win. This is who, if I was the Bachelorette, I personally liked night one.
Okay. Who's your favorite?
Christian.
Which one's Christian?
Boston man.
Boston man.
Oh, I hated him.
Kennedy's cousin.
Boston.
I hated him.
No, why?
I don't know what it was. I was watching with Natalie. I was like, why do I hate this guy? He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to me.
He didn't have anything unique about him other. He was like, this is what the accent is.
He was a bro. He was such a bro.
No, it's because he's
so
a Patriots
Boston.
fan and you're jealous.
I loved it. He was cute.
He made me like him when at the rose ceremony. He's like, I fucked this up.
Yeah,
I might go home. I was like, all right.
He's self-deprecating. He's funny. Even talking to her, he's like, I'm a hot mess right now. I'm so sweaty.
That made me like him. But it was weird. I had two different I was like, before that moment, I was like, this is such a bro.
But I liked him. But I'm worried that you liked Aaron. For you, for you if you're the Bachelorette.
Aaron is another guy that I did meet on the date. I don't want to give anything away. Not my again, like I don't have an opinion. He seems like a nice enough guy. They all seem like nice guys, but no, not my. I don't think he's gonna be Katie's or not my favorite.
No,
he's just a guy. He's a guy. He's
I like
nice.
Landon. If Landon isn't Matthew McConaughey from Dallas himself, I don't know what is.
Who?
No, Landon. Did you even hear him speak?
I know, that's why I liked it.
The only thing he did the whole time was laugh at Cat Guy for 1 second, and then he was out. He's on. Him and Brandon weren't even in the episode. I had to like go online to figure out.
Yeah,
who
there's
Brandon
a couple.
was.
Well, let's hold on. We're bouncing around here.
Brendan's pants were so tight I could see his dinger. I was like, I need you to back up, loosen your pants. As sex positive as I am, I don't need to see the outline.
Well, I will say, I from a fashionista critique here, what is going on? And someone who like really is a bit of a suit snob myself, guys. What is going on with these like ankles? And
No.
We
like,
had some ill-fitting suits this season.
why are we wearing capri suits? And then I love a good jean roll up, and maybe I bought I was in Mexico. I bought some like linen capri pants, very stylish. Like these legging suits that like end at your calves.
and like it's one.
Like what the fuck?
Men's ankles and feet are not like their best thing. Like I don't need to be seeing that like the cankles, all the
I don't
things.
even mind a good like sockless.
I don't mind that either, but if they're like tight
but
and
like
maroon and short.
Your suit pants should not stop at your calf.
New York Minute guy, his suit, they were barely to his calf.
Oh,
Yeah.
which one is he? New York. Like in a New York Minute.
All right, favorite. To give me 2 or 3 of your favorite limo. Is it limo exit or limo entrance? Because they're exiting the limo. I think it's entrance.
Can I tell
because
you-
it's their entrance to the show?
Yeah.
Can I tell you my least favorite and then my 2 favorites?
Great.
Okay.
Teddy. Whatever you want.
Thanks. It's my show now. No, just kidding. So the heavy breathing guy that needed to hug and embrace and go.
Which one was that?
Yes.
His name's Gabriel. That was a hard no for me. Absolutely not with the heavy breathing and the hugging. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was not into that. Of course, I was into Greg. Just
Yes.
immediately lit up the little screen. I liked it. Cute, funny. And then this guy I'm not personally into like aesthetically that much, but I did like the guy that brought the watch and was like, this is a family heirloom. Just kidding. Got it at the...
Yeah,
It was cute.
It's cute.
I don't like the over-the-top stuff. To me, like the
And
present or the ball pit.
The
or
box. You didn't like the box.
Well, I didn't like once he popped out of the box. I was not interested in what was inside that
I
box.
actually-
That was a tight
that
suit.
was a really
It was,
tight
but I
suit.
actually, and that was James.
James.
I liked it because it got the desired effect because so you got this big box, and credit to James, it sounds like he was in there for a fucking long
while.
time.
Yeah, he was in there a while.
Right? So just knowing how the timing of that's a long ass night to begin with. So at least an hour and maybe much, much longer.
Like, what do you think he was doing in there? Do you think he was just sitting in silence?
I wonder, just because it seems so unrealistic, like that he could be in there for hours. They might have like moved him in and out and just had him like
Pop out.
later. But it was either
I think
way.
he was praying for his pants not to rip.
Either way, I couldn't be in that box for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
My claustrophobia, no.
He was in there, like, even if it was 20 minutes, that's a long fucking time, right? So props to him. And then, like, it could have been any of these guys, right? But, like, clearly James is, he's an attractive fellow, right? And I love the fuck he's hot, like, reaction that a lot of the guys had. Like, you could tell they were just
Get him
like,
out of here. Put him back in the box.
fuck, you're hot, bro. Like,
One of them was like Jay Gatsby.
yeah, like they were definitely like fuck, and I love that. I love that effect. So I actually thought it worked, and he seemed like a nice enough guy, and he was just like, hey, I'm in the box and I'm handsome, but like I'm nice, So like I thought it was great.
I'm James from the box.
What did we think of Andrew, the football player who faked the accent?
Literally the worst.
You're really good at.
The guy that does the Carlton dance. Yeah,
sure.
that's him.
Which, as someone who rocks a Carlton dance, he doesn't have the best.
Will you show it to me really quick?
No. But just take my word for it.
All right.
Carlton himself, Alfonso, told me I was very good at it.
Wow.
So
that's something to
just
brag about.
Small flex. There, his Carlton left you wanting more. I'm not good with accents, as some of you may know. Allie is, so I think you're a little hard on him. But it was fun and playful.
It was less so.
I thought he
the
sold
accent
it.
was bad.
So
it was
what?
like he wouldn't stop.
More props to him for having a bad accent.
So like I was like secondhand embarrassment for their whole interaction. It was
His
just
delivery
bad.
was awesome. Just kidding, I'm from Chicago. Great.
Well,
Also, have you seen Can't Hardly Wait?
yes.
Yeah.
He reminded me of the guy. The sound of his voice sounded just like the guy who was trying to get you to sign his yearbook. It was,
Oh, yeah.
and the memory guy. The yearbook was Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She was in Can't Hardly Wait, the original.
Yeah.
And then there was the guy who was all about the memories. His voice sounded just like him. If you close your eyes, it was like, it's all about the memories, man. Anyway, if you watch Can't Hardly Wait, you know what I'm talking about.
It's a good movie. But you could hear when you watch the trailer later on, this could be editing, but she's hugging Andrew S. and she says, "Love you." Did you hear it?
Katie said?
Yeah.
She
so
did.
that's out there. I heard it. She breathed it. They showed it in the trailer. It was him.
think it's editing.
She like ran up to him in the teaser. She was like, "Andrew," and ran down the hallway to
Was
him
that-
into like a run, jump, hug thing.
Why?
Yeah, I was
Why
going to
did
go
they do
back and
that?
watch it because I went top 4 predictions, and whoever that person is in her top 4. Yeah. It was Andrew? Okay.
Well, she said Andrew and ran.
I thought he was charming and relatable. I thought his delivery of faking an accent, which I think it's hard to go up there. It could go so many different ways, and I honestly thought it was.
And he's from
fun.
Vienna. Like, that's hot.
He's
No,
not
he's
from
not.
Vienna.
He's from
Okay, but he
Chicago.
lives in Vienna. He lives in Vienna. That's so. Like, that's
He's
exciting.
playing in Vienna because he couldn't play over here.
I knew Teddy was going to say that.
I mean, it's just the truth. I wasn't good enough to play where I'm from, so they shipped me off over there.
Sure, but this is a guy who said yes to an opportunity of living overseas, and to me, that is someone who I would find that attractive in a person that says to me, "You're open to adventures." There's a lot of people in Andrew's shoes who maybe couldn't make it pro and said, "Well, I'll just go be an accountant now," as opposed to I don't know how much money you make playing pro football, not American football in Europe. I don't think it's a terrible amount of money, and props to him for following his dream and saying yes to an adventure. To me, that says he might be a fun, adventurous guy.
So you like Andrew?
So from what I know, sure, yeah.
One of the photos they put up of him though for his intro when he was talking about football literally was a Minnesota Vikings uniform though. So I don't know if he like played here and then
if he's
went
playing
over there.
he's playing pro football in Europe, that means he's definitely good enough to like have been scouted by the NFL or have a tryout at least. Maybe he was on a practice squad, things like that. So yes, he might have had like a small audition for the NFL, but ultimately is playing in he's not good enough to be in the Canadian League either.
I mean, guys, this is a big stretch.
But like no one's knocking him for his football skills here. Amanda and I are agreeing to his sense and zest of life and saying yes to adventures.
Well,
And-
obviously, he's saying yes to being on The Bachelor. He
Sure.
might just be saying yes to any kind of fame or notoriety he can get.
Have you even heard of the European Football League until tonight?
Of course not.
Okay, so not in it for fame then. when
Well,
it comes to-
over there, people are going to
Are they?
People must be watching somebody if they're paying you to do something.
I envision like European football, like they still have the like leather helmets. Like I like envisioned it very antiquated.
The point is you have to envision it because you've never seen it. So I don't think that Andrew is in it for the fame when it comes to playing football in Europe. So
We'll just have to see as the season progresses.
I think it's a net positive
Okay.
rather than a net negative. There's nothing to criticize for him playing European football.
No, nothing.
Who else did we like? Brendan, the hockey player.
Brendan.
Bro. Just a bro. Just your all-American bro.
Hey, you. That's that guy.
He's also
Except
like
Canadian.
a firefighter, which also made him like a little bit more endearing than just a bro hockey player.
I was not super into Courtney with the Q that then
I
felt the
was
need to
not
use
into
only
Courtney.
Qs.
Why?
Everything. He was
I
like,
didn't
that's
like his
quirky
entrance
and
at all. Yeah.
Like every Q that you could possibly
On
come
a
up with.
quest.
Yeah, I can't. Between that and then Justin doing
But
all
then he
the
adjusted it.
rose
He
puns.
adjusted it to coming and being hard and like so he
yeah,
went from the cues
just-
into the coming.
Okay.
I don't like puns like that. I don't want. No, you don't have to try to win me
was
over
too
that
much.
way. It was too much. But Justin was too much for me too when he was saying he was the rose painter and to stroke it out and this is what I stroked
Yeah.
it with my little.
Too much.
paint.
I'm not a fan of I'm not a big pun fan. I do know a lot of the producers love a good pun, and I'm almost certain that these guys were just willing participants. And so I don't like necessarily knocking these guys for saying yes to an idea that was probably suggested.
Know who actually frightened me?
The RV guy.
Well-
because he was gross.
Well, Jeff, yes, that was
Here,
that
let-
wasn't really frightened. That
'Cause
was
he had
just
a
like,
dirty RV.
why would you bring your dirty RV and like a
Let's-
ranch plate dip?
Let's
to try
talk
to
about
impress
Jeff.
somebody?
Also, just a announcement. I get a new dog tomorrow.
Congratulations.
His name is also Jeff.
You're getting a dog?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He arrives tomorrow. His name is Jeff. Surgical skin salesman.
What is that?
What does that mean?
Well, here's my guess.
He sells skin
What do you- no.
and he has a dirty
Skin
RV.
salesman.
Here's my guess of what happened here.
They had a
Is that
typo.
he ultimately he's in med sales. He's a med sales rep. It's some sort of medical procedure. That's the thing he sells. And his like welcoming pack, like what do you do? He filled out these answers. And Jeff, he went home night one, obviously, like from the time that they shoot this to the time that they give people, is it crayons? What do they call the thing?
Crayons.
Kyron.
Chiron, whatever. His like these
His
guys.
lower third.
These guys don't come up with their own titles. The show does based off of what they put down. And Jeff seems like a guy who would sell skin.
Yeah.
I mean,
And so instead of med sales rep, some
Yeah.
genius, slight asshole as well, was
Yes.
like, we're going to call him a surgical skin salesman
Yeah. In an RV. who
because he looks
he's
like
gonna
he
be
might sell
who-
skin.
And he looks like he's gonna be like, put the lotion in the basket.
no,
Yeah.
and then 1,000,000%. I was thinking that, and like, I couldn't even handle the spread. This between the veggie plate, and then he's like, "These are iced teas. I'm not
He
going to
made that
ask you to go
creepy
back into the
joke.
room." I was like, "Don't worry, Jeff. She ain't going back there. That is dirty, dirty dirt."
Also, I do want to just stand up for RVs because
I love RVs.
Love RVs.
Because
Clean ones.
Because Katie, maybe because she didn't want to be mean to Jeff, was like, the RV didn't do it for me. And I can assure you that if Thomas rolled in that RV, she would have had a much different opinion of the RV.
I liked the way she described the RVs. She said it's very lived in.
She wasn't talking about the RV at all. She was talking about Jeff.
But worse than Jeff, Hunter is absolutely frightening to me, and the fact that he's still in the game is a real doozy of a sitch. He told her, he came in and said, "Just so you know, I'm a catch," and then he had a pitcher's mitt.
He had the fish.
I don't even remember the fish. He had didn't he have the?
I met Hunter. I'm biased, but I think he's a sweet person.
Nick,
What?
how?
I mean, I wouldn't want to fuck him, but like I think he seems like a nice guy.
So, but you would put him in he's the 10 category, such a hottie, let's do it?
I said I think he's a nice guy.
Right.
Where did you get?
Well, that's what she said. So I'm just trying to understand.
Nick is putting Hunter in the he's handsome for you category.
I don't even know.
If you're trying to say that Hunter is handsome for me, I'm really offended.
I didn't say he's handsome for you. I didn't even say he's handsome for Katie. I said he seems like a nice guy that I think whoever he's right for will be a good guy, a good man to. And,
but he did say, I hope you feel I'm a good catch. He didn't say I'm a catch. He wasn't saying that he's a catch.
Yeah. All of these things that these guys are saying they're nervous. They're just trying to have fun here.
But you have
We're certainly
all
not
the
judging
time
their
in the
character based off of what they say getting out of the limo.
But you have all the time in the world to prepare
oh my
one
God,
line.
No, I blacked out. I mean, I have
What about
No.
like Connor with the baseball glove because he was ready to catch feelings?
Oh yeah, that was another situation.
Whoa, Connor C.
Connor C. Because he's the former baseball player. He's like, I'm ready to catch feelings.
Did he play pro or was he? Because there's the other baseball player who's also the gym owner, who's also the virgin.
Oh yeah.
Like,
he goes, I was so hot. He was like, I was just, all the things that everybody thought I was such a player because, I was handsome and I was playing baseball. I'm like, you explaining all of these things right now are taking away all of the positives that you've just told us.
Again, I just this guy is in an interview for an hour and he's just being honest about and self-aware how people might have viewed him. And now we're using it against him.
But that's the point of this recap.
I'm just here to offer a different perspective and just empathize with these guys.
So when do we talk about Cody and the blow-up doll?
Oh,
You mean Sandy,
Sure.
Chrissy.
I thought blow-up dolls had
Sandy.
a hole in the mouth. Isn't the mouth normally open? I'm confused. Is this not supposed to be a sex doll? Is this just supposed to be a fun doll? Normally
she was
they're
wearing a dress. She could have had holes in other places. We just didn't see them.
Am I wrong here
What?
about the blow-up doll?
What about it? What
Its mouth
A
was
true
not
sex
open.
doll, I think does
have a
generally
mouth
have
open.
an open mouth. Yes.
This doll had no open crevices.
At all? Did
I think
you
it
know
was the idea of it.
But don't half the idea. If you're going to do the blow-up doll, bring an actual blow-up doll. That was actually just a blow-up doll that maybe my kids would have. Was he trying to do a sex doll?
I'll be totally honest. I really didn't focus. I mean, I was like, oh yeah, a guy bringing out a sex doll because Katie brought out a dildo. There was definitely going to be one, and I'm honestly surprised that there weren't many more weird sex puns and sex jokes and sex toys. And they were definitely going to bring one, and the fact that it was this Cody guy, I don't think means all that much.
Her name was Sandy. The doll.
I don't know. JoJo Fletcher came out wearing a unicorn helmet because she was a unicorn, and she's one of the most beloved bachelorettes. You know what I'm saying? And
I blocked that out.
Exactly. My point is let's just these are just silly, fun limo entrances. What did let's talk about Connor B. Kat.
Yes.
Nice
to meet you.
Yeah, so nice to meet you. Here's the thing. I was fine-ish with him until the makeout scene when I saw all of the black from his whiskers all over her face. And it made me a little bit uncomfortable. The whole thing. The kiss, it was all sweaty. There was greased up eyeliner all over her face.
Okay.
That was a little bit rough for me.
I thought it was funny that you see all these suave dudes. You have Jay Gatsby, Vienna football player, and then you just cut to him and Katie. Katie now has cat paws and cat ears on, and they're both playing the piano with their feet. That point of the cocktail party, I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, they
meshed.
I think Connor B
He's
was
good for her.
Connor B came out dressed in a cat costume, and not just the shark costume, but he wore the makeup. The guy was full character, and and then he said hi to Katie, and he went in, and then he started that took some fucking balls to about to meet a bunch of like what
Dudes.
you assume is going to be a bunch of big alpha male like bravado guys, and this guy's going to be like, I'm going to come in like a cat
And he's,
start
like,
scratching
kneading
the
on
wall.
them.
That took him fucking guts, and I quite honestly pulled it off.
He was one of the most likable overall, which
I think people are going to really like Connor.
The teacher.
He gives me Evan vibes from Carly and Evan without the weird.
Don't
without,
insult
No,
him like that.
please.
Do not insult Connor like that.
that is dirty.
Hold on.
I mean,
hold on. Without the weird dick doctor vibes.
No,
He's like,
aesthetically, there's a big difference. Also,
I've met them both in person, and I don't think there is. But that being said, Connor is going to be, if you like a man in touch with his feelings, who's got a lot of nerd in him, but charming. Like Connor B's your boy. Like he's gonna be nerdy America, and I say that with all the love in the world. Like fan favorite.
You can't talk about a man and his feelings without talking about Trey. The man likes to hum.
I totally missed all of that.
Oh my gosh, he likes
Oh,
to
the
hum.
harmonica Trey
He drank
with
his
his
like
family?
white wine. He's a vegetarian.
the ball pit guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like playing the harmonica. Remember, his parents had been married for like 29 years, and he like
Yeah.
read the note from his mom, and he talked about how sensitive he was.
I liked how they just skipped most of the note. Like they read the first few lines and then just were like, love mom, when it was clearly a much longer note.
I mean, I got crucified in Andy season. I wrote her a poem, and then they edited it down to like a fifth grader wrote it, and I'm sitting here being like, yeah, I wrote that. It's such a small things that can really just crucify you on this show. Yeah. Anyway, I thought Connor really. It takes a lot of guts to say yes to that idea. He owned it. I think he won a lot of guys over. It shows a lot of confidence. And I thought it was great. Let's talk about Greg. First impression, Rose.
He's, to me, I'm just going to say it right now. That's who I think's winning.
Yes, Greg wins.
Can we talk about the fact she says he
agreeing?
looks like my ex-boyfriend? First thing she says,
Oh, I
he
didn't
looks
even
like my
hear that.
ex-boyfriend, and then she gives him the first impression in Rose.
Yeah, I just want to say
Yep.
when they showed the conversation with Greg before he got the rose, I said to Natalie, "That's my winner."
So I knew it too before the rose, before anything.
And Greg had the line of the night, and when he gave her the necklace,
the noodles.
Yes.
he just it is straight face said, and just so you know, that's not real gold.
It's pasta.
It's some sort of pasta. Was really truly hysterical. His delivery was
Monotone. He was a dream.
really great. It comes from a large family.
Looks like
Props.
he should be in Vampire Weekend.
Yeah, he's got a great head of hair. He is the hottest of obtainable hot.
Yeah. Here's the problem. She is going to struggle a little bit though, even though he's probably going to end up being the guy, because she's going to have some situations, I think, with Justin and somebody else, and somebody's going to hurt her. And then she's going to have to come back around to Greg, which is really going to hurt Greg, is in my opinion what's going to happen. Because Greg is ultimately the nicer guy.
Well, if we are right, then Greg got the first impression rose, as we know. Historically, that's great news. And when it comes to the Bachelorette, that's great news for Greg. Other than Tayshia's first impression rose.
Yeah, that guy.
Minus him, every other guy who gets the first impression rose on the Bachelorette is the winner. I mean,
Final two,
it's gotten
yeah.
so ridiculous that you would think the producers would be like, "Hey, you can't."
We got to cut this out.
But it's hard to predict because it is night one. They don't really know like how it's going to play out, and for whatever reason, the Bachelorette seemed to hone in. Like the greatest lie I ever told last episode. Rickett's like, "I don't have a top 2. I have a top 20." I was like, "Liar!"
I know. Lies. I know.
Like she has a top 4 for sure, and my guess is it's. It seems like Connor B and Greg. I mean, I think she has the hots for Thomas, but
and Andrew, you can't forget the "I love you."
I mean, I guess I missed that, so I'll take your word for it.
But there's two Andrews, so she's screaming
Which
Andrew.
Andrew?
down the hall.
Andrew S. Andrew S. is the hugging.
Are you
I
talking
love
about like
you.
the super tease, or did we see it in the episode?
It's just on the super tease.
tease.
Oh God, can't believe anything you see in the
Really?
super tease.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you see a guy's face, you're like,
Well-
he's still on the show. That's the only thing you can really believe.
But they'll dub in a different, like, as you're hugging that person, they'll dub
I
in.
mean, keep in mind the super tease is so fast that what you hear and what you see are, you have to like pause it, watch it frame by frame, and if you see the words coming out of their mouth, then they probably said it. But other than that, it's the super tease.
Okay.
So it TBD. I mean, we've seen people getting punched in the face in super teases. We've seen people show up that we never see. Who knows, right? So yeah, I don't know if we can take too much. Any other people we need to cover? I mean, like Brandon, who went home, auto parts manager. I really wanted to find out that he worked at a what are those? What's a Hot Topic?
When did
Like,
you
I
even-
wanted him to be a Hot Topic manager, not an auto parts manager.
But like,
It was a look. It was
he
just
looks but he's
it was
so
just such a
Queens,
look.
New
I mean,
York
for
auto parts.
for the right gal, he's
but
a goddamn
did you see
10,
him
but-
for more than 6
No.
seconds? I saw him 6 seconds the
I
entire
mean, with
episode.
how many guys? With 30 guys, there were always going to be 5 or 6 guys. You're like, no idea who is that.
That guy, and then the guy with the one earring that was a cross. Like,
Yeah,
The
I guess
crystals
Reno,
guy. He was the
Marty.
guy who had crystals. He was showing her, like, he was like,
oh,
they were
rock.
crystals.
The rock guy is the same
Yeah,
as the
he had,
earrings
like-
guy.
He was manifesting the whole episode.
But
if you
then
look at
he
his
manifested himself to go home.
face, yeah, it didn't work.
Oh,
didn't-
I also liked. What about John, the bartender from? She liked him. He seemed sweet.
No.
I thought he had great vibes.
He had a sweet entrance.
He had a sweet entrance, but I didn't feel the chemistry between them. I also need to it's hard for me when I look at the ages and some of the people. I personally am not going to marry a 25-year-old guy. Like you, I would.
How old's Katie? 30?
I would want somebody
Who are we
closer
talking
to my
about?
age. Like when I just look around, like Austin or even Andrew S. They're all 25, 26 years old.
That's a very good point. Let's. I haven't really paid close attention to their ages. So
Greg's
how old's Greg?
27, but I don't know how old Katie is. But
She's
still,
30. She just turned 30.
the closer to 30 or over 30, I think better for marriage material personally.
Sure, but like a lot of these guys are in their like mid 20s.
That's what I'm saying. Why not have
Connor B is 29.
29? I mean, Josh.
There was
the
somebody
IT
that was
cons-
36. I remember them saying, like, Carl's 34. We didn't talk about Carl.
Michael's
He had a lot of
36.
opinions.
Carl. Oh, I liked Carl. Which one was Carl?
Motivational speaker.
Carl with a K.
Maybe I
He
didn't.
had a
like
lot
Carl.
of
Carl
opinions
with a
about
K?
everybody, like about the guy in the box. If she gives the rose to the guy in the box, if she gives the rose to the cat guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Motivational speaker. I guess I just want to know more.
Yeah, I want to know
Yeah.
who are you motivating?
That's like, again, no disrespect to life coaches. With questions of Nick, I get, told, it's just like, but like, it opens the door for criticism, and I get it too. And I was like, why the fuck you giving me advice, Nick? It's just one of those things where like, when you say you're a motivational speaker, people are kind of like, tell me more.
Tell me more, Carl. I want to know what you're doing. Okay, he's the one that said his, all of his family's married with kids already. He's already there. He's ready to start a family. Oh, he's the one who his sister, someone made the portrait of them together already.
Who?
Oh, yeah.
That's Carl
Oh,
That's
his
Carl.
sister made a portrait of Katie.
and him, as if they were already a
Yeah, it was
couple.
like a cartoon.
No,
How old his
No.
sister?
no, not a little kid. This
It
was an
was
adult
like-
portrait. Like
It
this
was like a caricature.
a caricature, but they'd never met.
Was it good?
I
That's
don't
good.
I don't even remember the portrait. I just remember how awkward.
mean,
I think
if
it was
you're-
two-sided, too.
If your sister, you're going on the show, she's all excited. Your sister's a good artist. She draws what is like a pretty, he's just being a good brother.
Well, maybe
I mean, you could have got it out of bar mitzvah, but it was done well.
I'm just saying, I'm not going to knock Carl because he gave Katie a caricature of him and her that his sister drew.
Maybe she
kind of
could.
how it works. It's the best.
No, but I think Carl had too many opinions of other people, Mr. Motivational Speaker.
Because he's
Well,
so motivating.
if you're right about that, Chrissy, what that means is Carl will be around for a while because
Probably,
well,
yeah,
he will let us
somebody.
know what he thinks, and we like
Yeah.
a good commentator.
Sure.
I think Aaron's gonna go far. He's actually the one that kind of reminds me of Josh.
No, definitely Thomas. There's an intensity with Thomas that, who knows? Maybe Thomas is the greatest guy in the world. I met him, but it's all just snap. I do think I'm good at reading people, but nevertheless, I think he is far too careful with his words.
Calculated.
Well, it's not even. I mean, I got accused of being. It's just yes. I had a
Very
hard time.
Bennett?
Bennett.
Is he like Bennett, where he like thinks about his words?
He's Josh
Bennett was
Murray.
just douchey. Kyle, we didn't really even see other than his underwear, which I need to know. Do you think he really ripped them off of himself or just cut
No.
them prior?
Just cut
Kyle.
Remember, he's the guy that ripped his undies
The
off.
jock strap.
The jock strap. Oh, was that a jock strap?
It wasn't a jock strap. It was like full on underwear.
It was like Hanes white underwear. Like, at least get cute
Yeah.
ones.
And then they were throwing them around.
And all the guys were like, "Don't touch that." Marcus,
I don't remember.
Marcus was very
Justin,
nervous.
good painter. Give him props for the painter. His metaphor about like there's a space in the middle from our heart. I almost choked on my own vomit when he said that.
No.
The reason why there's a space is because I'm hoping that I can fill my heart with our love.
No, not. But also,
I feel like Katie would have thrown up too. I don't really know Katie that well. I met her obviously briefly. Seems like a great person. I've gotten to talk to her. She seems like someone who
I don't think she would have thrown up. She wore mittens. She wore cat mittens and like went
Totally
like this
different.
and licked and.
she's playful, likes to have fun. Totally different than Justin, great looking guy who like has this kind of like really cheesy metaphor that he says when his delivery in that moment was one of earnestness and like kind of being like, I want to fill this space.
I just got so
With my
uncomfortable
heart.
making eye contact with
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it just was kind of uncomfortable as opposed to like a guy who's like clearly having fun. I'm dressed up like a fucking cat. You're like, you know, like,
Yeah.
like,
But he's
I'm going to
also
go on a
did,
limb and hope and trust that you don't think I actually do this all the time.
he also did a
Huge
lot
difference.
of sexual puns. He also is going to go far. I
Justin?
think, I think Justin's going far because
don't.
I think she was into him. But I mean,
What's
to me,
far to you?
maybe like top 5,
Okay.
maybe home dates.
No, Justin, not hometowns for me. They're called hometowns. Not Teddi.
Sorry, I haven't been.
Do you
on-
think there's a difference between, like, do you think there's a reason the guys who get chosen to have the vignettes versus the guys who just get to come out of the
Say that
limo and
again?
go quick?
What?
Like, there's like a bunch of guys that they did the vignettes on, right? And then there's like the guys who come out of the limo quick and barely get any time. Do you think there's any like
No, I
real
think they're
reason
just
for
trying
that,
to
or it's just
switch
like,
it up.
Well,
right?
yeah, I can answer that question. In terms of like packages, like, you know, meet our guys before the limo entrances, those are meaningless. I say that because I didn't have one. In all seriousness, they don't know, right? When they
Yeah.
decide to do these packages, they just have met these guys. Maybe it's because their story or their where they're from, or they're available, right? Last
Yeah.
minute cast. So that's just kind of like a guess by the producers of who we should do. Now, how much airtime someone gets, limo entrances do matter, right? Thomas was the first one we saw. That doesn't mean he was the first one in actuality. He is
Right.
the first one we saw. Historically, that's a good sign for that person, you know?
Yeah.
That would tell you. But like the guys that we like got almost, like you maybe saw them like say hi to
'cause
Katie
it's
walk
like-
in.
Yeah, it
That's
was
bad
like
news for
Garrett,
them.
Austin, Marty, and like Landon, because like, and that second limo came out, and I remember because I wrote down in my notes, like you have like, I write down like, oh, this is what they said. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, 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 like 5 people who get to say nothing.
Yeah, it was so quick towards the end.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice how cold it was? Like Katie was shivering the whole time.
She was
Kind of
shivering
like
the
this
whole time.
room right now.
Yeah.
I'm so cold in here.
It was so like just how it was cold. Like when I got it snowed. Not that night, but the next night. That's how like cold it got at
desert
night.
gets
Katie's out there.
I have another question for you, Nick. So something that really bothered you about Rachel, if memory serves, is that she would say things about herself like, I'm a really good friend. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that.
Yeah. Early on, she would let you know what she's good at.
What she's good at. Did it bother you that Katie repeatedly let us know how confident she is?
No, it's totally different because as the lead, it's not her job. Like she has to do so much more talking, so many more interviews, and then they decide what they use. Where it's like that for the contestants, but on a much lesser degree, and so I'm far more forgiving for what they decide to air from what the lead says to like.
One of the
to like a common theme. So yeah, I didn't pick up on that just because, and maybe because at this point we've got to know Katie a lot on Matt's season, and there's other things I met, and in fairness to Rachel, that's something I noticed early on. The first couple episodes, the only time we saw Rachel was her letting you know how good she thought she did. Like, I really crushed this date, it was just probably not fair to Rachel, like we thought Hannah Ann was potentially a villain because of Champagne Gate on Peter's season, and like clearly not, like, so who knows? Like it's early on, and there's a lot of things like there's so much we can't really tell yet. All right, so let's talk about predictions. Let's predict our top 4. We do know that Blake comes back. Obviously, he's in the Super Teas. We can trust that he does show up.
And the guys are upset.
So I just want to point that out so that when we give our predictions,
he's in the running.
He's in the running.
He is not personally in my runnings.
Okay.
Definitely
well,
not.
Why don't you go? I will follow.
Okay.
Give me your top 4.
Greg.
They're called in your hometowns.
And my hometowns.
Your home dates.
My home dates.
Which technically is more accurate with the current format.
Mm-hmm. So Greg, number 1. I think he's the winner.
Okay.
I think Justin with the rose petals.
Okay.
I think Andrew S. And
Andrew S.
He's football.
Okay.
Vienna.
With that you don't think is actually him.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to say I don't know, Connor be the cat or Aaron, the sweaty face guy.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Greg is my winner as well. I agree with you there. Connor B. I think that clearly for a guy who didn't get the first impression rose, absolutely crushed it. He's a sweet guy. I think he's top 4 for sure. Andrew S. And I'm basing this off of I'm trusting Allie that he was the guy in that big embrace hug. That takes a lot to do that. I also liked him from what I saw. I think Katie values humor. I thought it was funny. He seems easy to talk to. Being able to talk to someone in this world is so important. And Greg is clearly someone she can talk to. Connor B is someone she can have fun with. Seems like she can have fun with Andrew. So they're my top 3. And my 4th person is Blake.
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 Oh, Blake.
Blake, sorry. Because, the fact that people have shown up before, like obviously I did on Kaitlyn's season. We've had other people do that before. Often it doesn't go well for that person. They show up like, what's her name last season? Hannah, and so it just kind of becomes like this like promotable moment for one season. But we saw a lot of Blake. We saw his in the Super Teas. It was kind of reminiscent to when I showed up in terms of making it a focal point of the super tease. I think there's a connection there. I actually wouldn't be shocked if Blake is the runner-up.
Have you met Blake?
I have not. I've never spoken with him. I don't know him. I was a little tough on him on it's again, as a guy who showed up on Kaitlyn's
he's obsessed with everybody.
So that's what I was going to say. Was he obsessed with, because I quit that season.
It seemed like he was obsessed with Claire, and then he was obsessed and quickly too. Like Claire was the Bachelorette for like a minute, and she was obsessed with Dale the whole time. And it didn't seem like Claire gave a lot of reasons for anyone else to have a connection. There was the gentleman who was a football player who had the weird one-on-one, who was like,
the one who said like he was mean and at the fire and burned the things.
Like you weren't sure if he was like, I killed someone, but now I'm,
but he's being vulnerable.
So like he seemed to have a reason to, because anyone who has a one-on-one, like you get a reason to have a crush on the Bachelorette or the Bachelor for like no reason than you had a one-on-one because of that world. But I don't believe that Blake had one. Am I?
No, he didn't.
And
he was just kind of like
with either one.
Her.
And then, and then Tayshia showed up. I don't think he had a one-on-one with Tayshia either. And then he was like,
his 101 was when he went home.
Yeah. And then he was like really into Tayshia. And then now he's showing back up for Katie. Listen, I think Blake is a super intense guy and he loves love, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's perfect for this fucking show, to be honest. So I think he'll be top 4. In fact, I want to say that I think Blake is going to be her runner-up and Greg wins. And then I'll say, and here's where I think I could be wrong, super tease, is that John, the baseball player, gym owner, no, not John, I apologize.
The crying virgin?
The crying virgin, gym owner, virgin baseball player.
Mike.
Mike? Where is he?
He was crying because of fantasy suites.
I'm sorry, we have 3
up.
pages. Mike, yes, thank you. That seemed like, I mean, the single shot of the fucking crucifix gold chain. I was like, where's it? And he's reading the Bible, and then he's crying. I mean,
I was like the transition from her being like, I'm sex positive, and then him crying, and
I mean, there's always the possibility of Katie pulling a, I guess we'll call it a Kaitlyn, and what Katie, the sex before the fantasy suite, is a possibility, and that so like, I don't know Mike, obviously, seems like an intense guy, but the fact that he's crying about sex and virginity would tell me he's going far enough to
where it's in question,
have a valid response to that. So that tells me either A, he's made it to fantasy suites, or B, something sexual happens with Katie and another guy and he finds out about it.
We also can't forget that her season like wrapped early, quote unquote, on her terms.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Exactly. So like that could like,
when she's getting all amped up and she's like running and she's like, I'm out of here, they're saying that's the end?
Who knows?
Well, there was just reports that like production wrapped early on her season.
Yeah, which is true. It did. But I mean, it sounds like something happened. I don't know. That could be so many different things.
Since when can people just end their jobs whenever they feel like it?
It's not their. What do you mean?
Well, you're like, have a contract. You're doing a job. Like, how do you end early?
Well, once again, it wasn't Katie's decision. Most likely, it was. We have enough to make a TV show. We're good.
Oh, okay. I thought she was like throwing a fit and ending.
I mean, who knows? Maybe but my guess is it had more to do with we're
they
good.
have enough. Okay,
we're good. And how that ends, I don't know. I mean,
how are we going to see the Neil Lane ring?
It might end very non-traditionally. Like Kaitlyn's season didn't have a hometown. Like it was clear after I showed up. Like it was like it's the Nick and Sean show. So like no one's going to believe, how we're going to edit this, et cetera, et cetera. And they knew this while it was filming that like, we're just going to eliminate home. And some of it had to do with like Kaitlyn sneaking out and hooking up with Sean like in week 4. And then me and her had our thing, et cetera, et cetera. It was like the way this season was going, they decided to make a shift, change the format and do something new. And so maybe, that happens with Katie and what happens, who knows? But it sounds like maybe we might prepare for a non-traditional ending. So to that point, maybe there isn't your like, your set top 4, maybe. And again, we don't have a hometowns. They're not necessary. There'll be a quote unquote hometown episode, but also maybe there won't be. Maybe, you add elements of like, we're still in a COVID world, so whatever families do show up are going to have to quarantine. It's more of a process. Right. So maybe as they get to that point in the season and what Katie's feeling, depending on what goes down, maybe things have escalated with 2 guys where it's just like, you guys, I mean, come on, let's be honest. We're just going to focus on these 2 or 2-3 love stories, and maybe they only bring 2 or 3 families in. All these are possibilities and could have to certainly play a role. And if they get, so the fact that it ended early would tell me, one, well, we're going to get a lot of to be continueds, a lot of episodes that will not end in rose ceremonies. So just buckle your seatbelt and get ready for that, because that means there are so much drama. That's a good thing for anyone who's going to complain about that. That means so much is happening on every episode that they didn't necessarily need or expect, but it's too good not to air it. So they are going to share it, they're going to show it, and then let's let it bleed into the next episode. And when things get to the end of the season, they will just kind of get back on track or just totally readjust, and the format might be completely different than what we're used to.
I think it's going to be a good season. Either way, I don't know if she's going to truly, have the Neil Lane ring at the end, but I do think there's going to be a lot of drama. It's going to be fun. It's a good group.
I'm excited. Yeah. I got to meet a couple of the guys. I think from what I could tell, Katie was someone who was willing to embrace the role and be her most authentic, genuine self, and just kind of be honest with the men and America, and that will make for good TV. I'm excited as well.
And we don't even have a dispute to end with because we're agreeing on the winner.
We didn't have a dispute last time.
It was a touch of a dispute. You didn't actually fully agree.
Well, we agree. We agree now, Teddi.
Well, I feel so much better walking out today.
What if we're wrong?
There's no way we're wrong, Nick.
I don't think we're wrong either.
Let's not get crazy.
I don't think we're wrong either.
We're not.
But maybe Greg.
Maybe
leaves?
Jeff makes a comeback and the RV peels in, pulls her out.
I wouldn't be able to handle it. My
Maybe
OCD
Greg
would
leaves
be
on his own and completely. Maybe it's do you ever watch Desiree's season way back at?
Yes.
And Brooks, Brooks by all accounts was Desiree's favorite. She would have picked Brooks. She's now married to her choice with a kid, Chris. It all worked out. But at the time, I think it was, and Brooks was like,
I'm out. Not into it.
So that could happen. Who knows? Just it's not real gold.
He was cute.
Teddi, as always, thank you so much for coming.
Such a pleasure.
We always appreciate your thoroughness.
Thank you.
And your strong takes. That's all we ask for our guests.
Well, I'm glad
you always have them.
I'm glad I could do it for you guys.
Can you please remind the audience of where they can find you, anything that you're currently working on, all the great things you're putting out into the world?
You can find me on Instagram at Teddi Mellencamp, or my website is allinbyteddi.com.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for listening and choosing us on this adventure of Katie's season. We will be back tomorrow with the wonderful Nikki Glazer, also great friend of the show, and me personally. And Nikki's always a fun person to talk about life, dating, and her adventures. And be sure to tune in for that. And we will be back next week with the plan is to have Heather McDonald, who, spoiler alert, is on the next episode of Katie's season. She hosts a date.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know what it is because I wasn't there when it happened, but so we get a sneak peek into what that's like. So
juicy.
The wonderful, hilarious Heather McDonald is with us to recap next week's episode, unless something happens and we have to make. There's a big deal. Our schedule might.
You just never know. I have a good feeling she'll be here.
Same. As always, thank you, Teddi. We appreciate it. Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castmedia.com. Cast with a K for Ask Nick Episodes. please rate 5 stars. That's all we ask. The rest of you can suck a metaphorical. Have a great day, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye.